It's a beautiful day, but I accidentally rented too many books from the library. Hello and welcome back to my channel. And happy Saturday. It's the weekend and I just got back from the library. I had one hold available and then, well, I kind of went crazy. I couldn't help myself. There were so many good picks. And I think that one of the reasons I've been on such a good reading groove lately is because I've been reading different genres. I'm not afraid to start a book and DNF it. I am reading multiple books at the same time. All of these weird arbitrary rules that I had followed in the past that I feel like had hindered my reading lately, and having one of the best reading years that I've had in almost 10 years. I'm just really proud of myself for letting go of those things that were holding me back and really reading as much as I love to and want to, and doing that, reading for joy. In the spirit of that, I grabbed a bunch of books that just sounded good to me. So starting off, I have How Not to Have an Arranged Marriage by Dr. Amir Khan. This is his first book, and it is about a son. He is the golden child who is getting ready to go into a modern arranged marriage. So it's about multiple sides of that. I think this is a really interesting topic, and this one was a just kidding. I thought it was in one of the book clubs, but no, he is just an as seen on TV doctor. I think he is he's a resident doctor for Good Morning Britain. So, How Not to Have an Arranged Marriage. Excited to pop into this one. And then next up, this was actually why I went to the library. This was the hold that I had, and this is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuinton. This one, a little synopsis is you have two girls that have been competing, it seems like, for a while now, and they are finally vying for that spot of valedictorian. They share a kiss, an intimate moment, and then one of the girls disappears, and it's all about finding out where she went. I was just looking too. I love the colors, I love the flowers. It's all very me. It's a book I would have picked up on the shelf, so it's very funny to me that I had it reserved. This is a book I grabbed because I saw it on a little end cap. They were advertising books like Bridgerton, and so this is Something in the Air, and it follows a couple who they come from some sort of generational wealth, and they've been married for 8 years. Everything's going pretty well, but the husband finds out the wife has created two heirs, that they have two children, and she needed to create these children so they could live in the house that they're living in and access this generational wealth that they have in their family. And the drama comes when their family is invited to go meet her grandfather, and they have to produce these heirs that they don't have. So they end up going and getting British orphans. So this seems just super silly, super interesting. I am watching the latest season of Bridgerton right now, so I really, really think this one is going to be good. I thought I was going to be done because I had so many books in my hand already, but I did one last pass, and I noticed this book wasn't on the shelf where it was supposed to be, so somebody else was pondering it. And this is Pineapple Street, a novel by Jenny Jackson, and what caught my eye was the beautiful illustration. It's just very elaborate. Then I started reading, and it's about a few different women that live in the New York 1%, and that's just a trope I really love reading. I loved the Kevin Kwan Crazy Rich Asians series. The movie was actually just on again this morning, so I thought this was a little bit of Fate, and I was supposed to pick it out. This one is also a Good Morning America book club pick, which the last book club, um, Good Morning America book club pick that I picked up was The List, and I did really, really enjoy that one. I'll keep you posted. My last two picks are YA books. Again, jumping genres has been pretty successful for me, and I also think that reading YA and sometimes is just a little more simple, little easier for me to comprehend. With that mindset, I went and I grabbed Jay's Gay Agenda by Jason June. And this one follows Jay, who is moving from his seemingly very small town where he is the only really out gay person, to Seattle, where he's put into this thriving LGBTQ AI culture, and he really gets to explore who he wants to be. I'm very excited to pop in to this one. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but when you go to the library, that's why you go, or that's why I go. I go to be inspired by books, by stories, and to get excited about what I'll be reading next. It's also just really great when I took my big pile of books up to check them out. I made a joke about how I was dangerous in the aisle, and the woman checking me out was like, well, think about if this was Barnes and Noble. You're being responsible here, taking 6 books up to the library. This is free. Barnes and Noble, that's a pretty penny. So I love that. My last book of my giant library haul is another YA one, like I mentioned, and this is me trying to start reading some fantasy. Fantasy has not been my cup of tea in the past, so I thought starting with a popular YA book might help, and this is The Poison Heart by Kaylin Barron. This is a young woman who she has a special gift, and that gift is that she can grow plants just by touching them. She brings them to life. So she is now going to move to a rural estate in New York, and she is going to try to learn to harness her powers. I think this one will also be a little bit of a coming of age story, which is a theme that I do enjoy to go back to. We'll see. Now, I don't know where I'm going to start. I have a lot of books. I'm also reading a lot of books. I am in a really, gonna keep saying it, really good reading groove, and I have been hitting some strides on my Kindle with my Kindle reading. I am at 15 weeks in a row and then 16 days in a row, which it's the 15th of June today, which means I have been reading on my Kindle every single day of the month, and that kind of seems so good that I don't want to stop that. So I've been trying to read a little bit there every single day. This week I actually wanted to keep track of what I was reading and like realistically how many pages I was getting through. And I also did a good bit of work this week as well, so I wasn't just lying around reading, which is what I prefer to do, but we had a pretty busy week. So realistically, in the last 5 days, for me, reading 332 pages is a really good chunk of pages. I did read every single day. Like I said, I had one day, Wednesday, that was my big day. I had a lot of time, so I finished the book that I was reading. On that day, I read 235 pages, but for the rest of the week, I was under 50 pages every day, but Monday and Wednesday. Here are my stats. Monday, 50 pages. Tuesday, I had 10 pages read. Wednesday, 235. Thursday, 16 pages. And then Friday, I had 21 pages. So I am proud of myself for reading a little bit every single day. I will continue to keep up with that. Another thing that's helping. I mentioned earlier, reading multiple books at the same time, always having some sort of story I can pop into. And for me, having Kindle Unlimited means that I don't feel as bad if I start reading a book and I'm not connecting with it. I can just return it knowing that I tried it, but I didn't waste any money purchasing this book, but I paid to use it. That's kind of the same thing with the library. I am more likely to not finish a book that I picked up at the library and then again not feel bad about it because the time that I have reading is precious and I want to make sure that I'm reading things that I enjoy, things that are bettering me, things that are making me critically think. I don't always have to read happy books. I do read books that are sad, that are emotional, that bring up frustrations, but I always want a book to be compelling. I want it to be good and I want to read it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So if you've been struggling reading, if you feel like you've been putting unnecessary parameters on yourself or pressure to get through TBRs or read counts, just step back. Remember why you read in the first place. I read for a lot of different reasons. I read for enjoyment. I read to help calm myself down, to escape to a different world, to be inspired, to feel creative, to wind down. You don't always have to read for one reason, and I'm not always reading for all of the reasons that I enjoy it. I hope this helps, and I hope that you have a really successful library trip the next time you go. When I'm consuming a lot of booktube content, I see a lot of really big hauls and really great trips, and just remember that you don't have to buy books to be a part of the book community and to be a part of the conversation. Local libraries are fantastic resources, but you don't have to go in person to just have that relationship. A lot of times you do have to start a relationship with your library in person, but then there are a lot of digital rentals that you can get as well. The barrier for access for reading is so low, so if you're thinking about getting started, please don't hesitate today. If you need help, leave a comment. I and a lot of people in the community would like to help you get connected to the reading resources that you need. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a great day.